Hey everybody, Matt here for AVC and welcome back to the shop. Today we're topping off this van interior with our ceiling install. Let's get to work. So the first panel we're going to install is going to be our rear panel for the ceiling. That's the one that has our 4 lights. I've already taken a measurement and marked center on my panel. I put it on some yellow tape so you can see it there on camera. And I measured from the back in, and that lines up with my furring strip off the back here, 8 inches, which will land a screw right about there. So we're just going to take this panel, lift it into place. So if you have a friend around, this is definitely much easier with 2 people, but today everybody is busy inside working. So I had this little handy quick support, which makes this job much nicer for 1 person and can help hold our ceiling nice and tight while we get our screws in place. We checked all of our seams. Placement seems pretty good, so we're gonna go ahead and put in our first screw. Okay, looks good. Then I'm going to find the holes here that are going to correspond with our Rivnuts in the ceiling. And on a straight line between these 2 Rivnuts, I can add some additional screws that are going to hold the ceiling until we can put our unistrut in place. So we're 29 3/8. I pulled this rear upper wall section so that we can properly route these wires to our ceiling. Basically, I just want to be able to get over the top of our ceiling support so that I can bring these wires and group them with everything else that's going to that control panel in the future. Now we're ready to put up our middle panel. Before I put it up, I'm going to go ahead and route the wires in the same location over the top, so I can get to those wires too. Before I get my middle panel up, I'm going to measure how far back my furring strip is from the front of my fan, so that way after that panel's up, I can take a measurement and get a screw in place. So it looks like I'm about 8 inches back, and I'm just going to make a note of that up here where I'll be able to see it. Now we're ready to hoist this panel up and into place. So I'm going to measure back 8 inches, just like my note says here, behind my fan. But so I can make some marks and not worry about getting something wrong, I'm just going to go ahead and put a piece of masking tape up. Then I can make sure I measure center and get my screws nice and aligned. So there. Before we hoist this panel up, we're going to do the same thing. Route this wire over the top and behind our wall ceiling support. With our wire routed above the ceiling, we're ready to put this panel up and into place. So we're going to start by inserting it above our factory headliner and tight to the front. I'm going to pull the slack out of our wire and bring it up and into place. So there's going to be a lot of curve at this very front panel. So as we're getting this panel under more and more tension, we just want to check our seams and make sure everything is going to line up and look good once we screw it into place. Because our fan is up here right at this big heavy curve, I'm going to cut some scraps of Baltic birch and just stick them in between that seam and help hold that seam tight together. So I'm going to run to the saw. I'll be right back. So I cut a couple of little blocks. Size isn't important. Really, we want them as small as possible. And we just want to get the screws as tight to this edge, so when we put that fan trim up, it's going to cover all of our hardware. So I like to start one here first, back it out, bring this in between the 2. Keeping in mind, I don't want to put a screw in my finger. So we'll coil up all those ceiling light wires. We're just going to tuck them behind the wall panel for now. That way when we get that control panel in place, we can bring them all into the accurate spot. So let's put this rear section up. The last step to finish out our ceiling is going to be installing our fan trim ring. So we're just going to dry fit this in place, make sure everything works first. Okay. Then I like to take my pencil and mark around the perimeter. Then we're going to transfer this measurement to this side of the fan, making sure we don't cut too much off. We took a break, we're inside the shop, and we're just going to use a scribe to transfer this measurement from this half of this trim to this half of the trim, making sure we don't cut too much of this off. So I'm just going to measure my scribe here to my existing line. Then I'm going to flip it around and use that to make my mark where I want to cut this fan trim. Do the same thing here. we're just gonna score and snap. Should be good. With our trim cut down, we can go ahead and fit it in place. There we go. With that fan trim in place, this ceiling install is complete. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button so others can find it. And if you'd like to support the channel, please subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button so others can subscribe. Just put that all into one thing. Yeah? All right.